Early morning, let's answer a question from social media about meditation. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso, looking a little green, of the Buddha Joy Meditation School, terribly tardy, of the Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. If at any point during this morning's tardy meditation class you have any questions about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. So let's turn to Reddit. So SCloud6767 wanted to ask a question about angry meditation. SCloud explains that they're having a hard time reconnecting with themselves after some betrayal that happened to them a few years back. They used to meditate regularly, but now they just get angry and ended up having to walk. They say they don't know what to do with those feelings besides use them to work out. All right. That is right up my alley. Woo. Those who know. So let's explore that. Number one, anger is unpleasant. It feels bad. And so I'm sorry that I'm sorry you were betrayed. That sucks. Number two, I'm sorry you're experiencing anger. It's totally understandable and totally uncomfortable, and I'm right there with you. And number three, I completely understand what it's like to use strong emotion as workout fuel. Now, let's look at ways to cope even better. And this is by no means an indictment. I think it's beautiful that you were asking for help. There are two major problems with using rage as workout fuel. Number one, people who do that report greater numbers of injuries. Number two, there are some who feel that by doing that, you are creating an association between rage and fitness, which could be disempowering in the long term. Okay, so what to do with rage? Number one, this is going to seem weird, so hear me out. Yes, some emotions are pleasurable and some are painful, but there's no inherent virtue or vice in what we feel. The virtue or vice is not in what we feel, but what we do with what we feel. If we use rage as a license for cruelty, then we are walking a destructive path. If we are using the rage we're experiencing to fuel our meditation and contemplation with the determination to be the person that our dog already thinks we are, then bravo, well done. That's the first hurdle, and you've done it. Now for the second hurdle. Let us sidestep the error that you've probably been taught that we must find a remedy for the vile emotion of rage. Better to think, hey, I've got this rage. It is like rocket fuel. What is the most productive thing I can do with it? And that's huge. One says, I got to fix something. I got to be controlling. Other says, I've got this. What's the best thing I can do with this? The most beneficial thing for the most number of living beings. That is the path you want to traverse. So, quick like a bunny, I'm going to take you on a tour of this morning's of a practice text. I'm going to tap button 9. And this morning's been a 3-ring circus. Let's see if this helps. Okay, so far so good. Control G. Okay. Good. Okay, so in the Anapanasati Sutta, the Buddha talked about beginning with some sort of a centering work and then going to an analysis work, which can work well if done correctly. So you'll notice that below my love-centered centering work, forgive the redundancy, there are 4 contemplations. These could be described as a contemplation of compassion as well as the 3 marks of reality. When we do that, when we play with these 4 contemplations, not as a way to get rid of our rage, but to put our rage to work, it suddenly becomes very productive. So let's say you're sitting there, you're thinking about the betrayal. Perhaps you're also thinking about Dante's Inferno, where he has some very interesting things to say about betrayers. So you're thinking about betrayers, the sting of past betrayal, the specter of potential future betrayal, and the fire burning in your heart. And you can use the pronoun this. Arguably one of the greatest hypnotherapists to traverse the earth was Dr. Milton Erickson. And he was a big proponent of pronouns, the psychotherapeutic benefit of working with pronouns. So by playing with the pronoun, how could this feel stressful? It's for whatever we're experiencing in the moment. Now, here's something ridiculously ironic. When we experience rage on the meditation cushion, that's what some people would refer to in Tibet as, and I'll translate it in English, effortless concentration. Because when you're feeling something strong and negative, whether it be physical pain or emotional pain or rage or sorrow or rage or despair or terror, it's all you're thinking about. Maybe you're thinking about it at Mach 2 with your hair on fire, but that's effortless concentration. It's not comfortable, but it's useful, especially when you harness it. Now, to the chagrin of this vegan, we used to harness great big quadrupeds with bits and reins and harnesses and the like. And we can do the same thing with the dynamo of our rage by playing with this rhetorical question. How could this feel stressful? And you might say, well, no. You might say, no shit, Sherlock. You might put your hands on your hips and do this thing with your neck. That's fine. Be as sassy as you want. But recognizing stress as stress is empowering. There's something I've noticed in my own life, and perhaps you've noticed it too. When we're experiencing something painful like rage or a recollection of a betrayal, there's that pain, and then there's the pain of surprise that says, I'm feeling thus and such. I shouldn't be feeling thus and such. How dare I? Something's wrong. Listen, if you are feeling pain in the presence of a recollection of betrayal, that is 100% appropriate. And just to put things in the bento box of appropriateness, how could this feel stressful, is helpful. And then we use that after contemplating this vulnerably, we then use, and in the peak of irony, we use our betrayal-oriented rage to fuel our universal compassion. All beings stress, may I soothe. So I'm feeling this horrible stuff. Other people are feeling horrible stuff. I say that not to minimize my horrible stuff, but to plug into my effortless compassion for them. For just as I do not wish to feel horrible stuff, neither do they. And we play with this, maybe for 4 repetitions, maybe for 16. And then we return to rhetorical questions. How could this rage, this betrayal, how could this never last? Now, it's not our job to believe this. It's not our job to answer. These questions are rhetorical. But something profound happens when we question the permanence of an event. It's not intellectual, it's visceral. So we'll hang out with this for 4 repetitions or maybe 16. And then we play with the bizarro question, how could this not be me? Now, once again, these are rhetorical questions. It's not our job to answer them, resulting in either skullduggery or blind superstition. We play with them, reciting the first half during our inhalation and the second half during our exhalation. And the key to really making this effective is breathe in enthusiastically during your inhalation, relax enthusiastically during your exhalation. And if you do that, you will find yourself letting go. It's not going to excise your memory. I don't think you want that to happen. That would be bad. But it's going to help you make peace with the past. So let's explore this from the perspective of neuroscience. What is trauma? When we have this mechanism in the center of our brain, or just below the center of our brain, called the hippocampus, and it kind of acts like the bouncer or the doorkeeper. I'm not sure the exact term. The door guy with the clipboard behind the velvet rope at a club, and it says to the memory, you can't enter. It says to the experience, you can't enter long-term memory. And a trauma is any memory from the past that we experience as the present. That's not psychological. That's because there's a mechanism in our just below our midbrain that's dysfunctioning. Playing with these exercises increases the probability of that memory moving from short-term to long-term. When that happens, you will still recall it, but you will not recall it as a present experience. You recall it as a past experience. And it'll really take the emotions down a notch. It won't mean that all of a sudden you're going to be glad that you were betrayed. I don't know anybody in the right mind who would be. But it's going to help you make peace with it. Now, you can't believe your way there. You can't use affirmations. But you can use these contemplations to process it. And if you say, but dude, what if I squander my entire meditation? Whether my meditation is 5 minutes or 20 minutes or 40 minutes or 60. What if I spent my entire time dancing with rage and compassion and the 3 marks of reality? Then I would tell you that is productive. But wait, there's more. If you did this, 20 or 40 or 60 minutes every 12 hours for a week, you will find yourself to have accidentally memorized these 4 exercises. Do you know what that means? It means the next time you're feeling tormented by a past trauma, you can do brisk walking meditation. You'll be able to walk briskly around your block, and I recommend your block because it's very tough to get lost on your block. So just walking around your block for 20 or 40 or 60 minutes, silently and mentally playing with these 4 exercises, is profoundly effective. But don't take my word for it. Don't take Buddha's word for it. Peer-reviewed studies have shown that blending meditation with walking meditation can increase the efficacy, especially when applied to PTSD, no less CPTSD. This is explored in a delightful book by Dr. Paul Hartman called, and forgive the title, it's kind of silly, Walking Your Blues Away. I think you can find it on Amazon. So this is not just stuff invented by a dead Indian. This is stuff that contemporary science is able to say, is able to verify that this can work. Now, the method explored in that book is not as elegant as the method explored here, but the principle is sound. So let's tie this up in a big red bow. I'm sorry you were done dirty. It's understandable that these memories come up. There is a way to process them using compassion and the three marks of reality and rhetorical questions. When you get good at them, you can apply them to walking meditation. This is productive. And forgive me for putting on my geek hat, but this is the way. Before we start this morning's practice, I'm going to take a moment for housekeeping. It is my every day I live stream 4 meditation classes without ads, health permitting. With your assistance, this channel could come to support the next generation, or come to help support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you, this seems like a good idea and you'd like to help out, you're welcome to, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month. Just use your smartphone's camera to capture this QR code, or if you're old school, simply scroll down into the description area below the video and click one of the donation links. Okay, one moment. I must attend to something. Okay. That's a copy. Wunderbar. Das ist wunderbar. Excellent. Okay, back over here. And hopefully everything is copacetic. It is. All right. Let's begin. And if you've just joined me, welcome aboard, matey? So, if you have any questions during this live stream about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, simply type those questions in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. We're going to begin by exercising the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm by chanting the recitations of bodhicitta and refuge. Okay, how do humans know they are alive? Excellent. So I'm going to answer this on many levels. First, I'm going to sadistically subject you to Jumbo Cam. Okay. First, I'm going to give you the stupid answers, and then hopefully I will inch my way to the profound answers. How do you know you're alive? Well, you got a pulse. Number 2, how do you know you're not just a brain in a vat dreaming a dream? Good question. You don't know. But to paraphrase one of the late tutors of the 14th Dalai Lama, Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, the fact that life could be a dream is undeniable. The question is, will it be a good dream or a bad dream? Will you be the villain or the hero? Will you be the schlub, or will you evolve? Like Neo in the Matrix, will you remain Thomas Anderson, or will you become Neo? So whether you are real, flesh, blood, and bone, or whether you are a disembodied brain in a vat thinking about stuff, you can make the most of this opportunity, of this sentience, of this lucidity, by playing with the Buddha's meditations and contemplations. And I hope that helps. So now, let us play with one very concise exercise, a chant, to help strengthen our enthusiasm and our empathy. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. And by the way, thank you for the question. I love questions. They are so much fun. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. This morning we're going to skip the chanting and go straight to the practice. So our practice divides neatly in half between centering, known as shamatha, and analysis, known as vipassana or vipassana, depending upon which language you fancy. There are many, many objects of shamatha or centering. The Buddha himself praised the efficacy of using love as a centering device, listing 11 benefits, some literal, some hyperbolic. Bottom line, the safest and most productive object for centering is love. Unless you're a nerd like me and you cannot say the word love without thinking about Princess Bride, then you cannot help but say, "Wov, tu wov, chewisho wov." If you've just joined me, welcome aboard. When you have a question, simply type your question in. When you have a question about meditation or philosophy or chanting, simply type your question in the chat window on the right-hand side of your screen. Okay. So I'm going to have to do a quick edit because sadly that is how I seem to roll. Well, let's see if I already did what I was supposed to do. Let's see what happens if I hit paste. Oh, good. Yay. So, as we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite heartfelt wish. The very act of mentally reciting the noun heart causes our subtle energies to begin coalescing there, which is inferred in the Satipatthana Sutta, so it can be very beneficial. During our exhalation, we silently wish, we mentally recite the wish, boon for all. We are wishing good fortune for all circumstances, real or imagined. Now, does this mean we are working magic? Does this mean we are Galadriel the Golden or Gandalf the Grey? No, not at all, not even a little bit. It means we're a good-hearted schlub who's trying to be less of Thomas Anderson and more of Neo. We're simply trying to exercise the neural pathways for empathy that are already present in every healthy mammal. We're just giving them a workout. So, as we breathe in, let's silently and mentally recite heartfelt wish. And as we breathe out, let's silently and mentally recite boon for all. And let's play with this for several minutes. Here's a quick pro tip. As you breathe in, as you enthusiastically breathe in, do your best to sit up straight. And as you breathe out, give your body and your mind permission to relax. So what we are doing, ironically, in this exercise is we're taking our self-centered greed and turning it into universal love, which is really cool. So we don't have to pretend that we are emoting something we're not emoting. This exercise is not of emotion, but volition, intention. And we guide our intention through the cunning use of words. An easy preparatory exercise for this contemplation is to watch the news. You see wars and murders and all this horrible stuff. It's really easy to wish good fortune for all circumstances. By the way, feeling bad when you watch the news is not a mark of weakness. It means you have a fully functional set of mirror neurons. It means you're a healthy mammal. So the great irony is this only works if you have a fully functional part of your brain just above the midbrain called, just a little bit forward of the midbrain and above it, called the anterior front cingulate gyrus. And it sounds like a dance move, I know, but it's the hub or the nexus of our mirror neurons. So this doesn't make us transform us from a sociopath to a decent human. This helps us become the decent human we've always been, at least in potentiality. Peer-reviewed studies have shown that stress pulls our blood mass out of our empathy center and into our predator center, into our predation center below our brain. And that active contemplation of love moves our blood mass back up to our empathy centers. So if we have been less than empathetic, it is not a commentary on us, but on the way our society is structured in late stage capitalism. And the very fact that you can do something about it says a great deal about you. That you're part of the problem. I'm sorry, that you're part of the solution and not the problem. So this simple exercise combines 3 or 4 facets of the Eightfold Path. The facet of wishing love or right aspiration, the facet of zeal or enthusiasm or energy, the facet of mindfulness, that what your brain does when you breathe in, and meditation, the relaxing stuff your brain does when you breathe out. We're going to switch gears now from the circumstantial to the physical. And now I get to check to make sure that the display is still synchronized. Cowabunga. Okay, heartfelt wish, health for all. During the inhalation, enthusiastically fill your lungs. During the exhalation, relax. In certain parts of the world, different questions come up in Q&A. And there are some people who are just obsessed with taking an auspicious rebirth. They've been subjected to fundamentalists and fearmongers, and they're scared of roasting their innards in hell, whether it be real or imagined, whether it be literal or allegoric. And good news is, according to the Buddha, the easiest way to ensure an auspicious rebirth is to play with loving meditation, just like we're doing here. Let us now bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of love. Heartfelt wish, love for all. All right, so Space asks, do dead people know that they are dead? That is a wonderful question that depends upon your metaphysics. If you believe that there is no sentience without the 3-pound squishy supercomputer between our ears, then the answer would be no. If you believe that if you believe that there is death after life, the answer is no. If you believe that there is life after death, the answer seems most likely yes, but now I gotta be a pain in the ass. I try to limit my answers to questions that are germane to the meditations and the philosophies taught by Lao Tzu and the Buddha. So that's my area of expertise. There are when we read the teachings of the Buddha, when we read the teachings of Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching, there are inferences to life after death, but are those literal or are those metaphoric? That can be puzzling. I think it's fine to say there may be, but to let go and to not hold on to our ideas with white knuckle intensity, but to just live our life in such a way as to use the techniques the Buddha taught to be as loving and as centered and as spontaneous as we are taught to be in the Tao Te Ching, and then let everything else take care of itself. So if you limit your questions to the subjects of philosophy and meditation as taught by both the Buddha and Lao Tzu, you will probably receive answers that are more satisfying. You're welcome, and thank you for participating. I'm sorry, the camera's here, but the display's there, thus I am displaying my idiocy. So we're not lying to ourselves when we play with the phrases heartfelt wish, love for all. We're not saying, I'm so awesome, I only wish love for all. We're saying, in this moment, I choose to have a heartfelt wish that wishes, that desires that all beings everywhere be profoundly loving. That's it. We're not lying to ourselves. We're not committing hypocrisy. We're just playing. We're using words and breath and relaxation to gently and enthusiastically play with our intention. Like a kid with tinker toys. Going to shift gears now from the interpersonal to the mental. There is a high probability the screen will go berserk. I will tend to it momentarily if it does. Okay, so let us lovingly wish that each mind of each being master the wisdom of awareness and letting go. As we watch the news and see the continued rise of fascism, racism, sexism, cruelty, classism, greed, and jingoism, not to mention ecocide. Yes, it becomes very easy to wish that all beings everywhere would be much wiser than they currently are, especially those in power. We switch gears now from centering to analysis, from passive centering to active analysis. Going to begin by actively exploring the mental through the lens of stress or dukkha, that we might train in vulnerability. One moment. Okay, so let's begin by playing How Mind Hate Feels Stressful. This is a rhetorical question. Let's recite this silently and mentally in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. Vi means compete. Let us use this intention to actively explore the mental, Sita, through the lens of compassion, Karuna, that we might grow in bodhicitta. So, quick overview. What we're going to do is we're going to explore the four bases of mindfulness, satipatthana, through the lens of the three marks of reality, tilakkhana. Let us actively explore the mental, or sita, through the lens of impermanence, or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. Let's actively explore the mind, or sita, through the lens of selflessness, or anatta, that we might make a habit of letting go. We're going to switch gears now from the mental to the interpersonal. So now let us actively explore the interpersonal, or Vedana, through the lens of stress, or dukkha, that we might train in vulnerability. So we're going to use the ties that bind as a synonym for our experience of the interpersonal. And more precisely, we're going to use the word tie as the monosyllabic equivalent of the ties that bind. Let us actively explore the interpersonal, or Vedana, through the lens of compassion, or karuna, that we might grow in bodhicitta. or the mindset of enlightenment. Let us actively explore the interpersonal or Vedana through the lens of impermanence or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. Let's actively explore the interpersonal or Vedana through the lens of selflessness or anatta, that we might make a habit of letting go. We're going to switch gears from the interpersonal to the physical. Let's begin by actively exploring the physical or kaya through the lens of stress or dukkha, that we might train in vulnerability. Let's actively explore the physical or kaya through the lens of compassion or karuna, that we may grow in bodhicitta. We could actively explore the physical or kaya through the lens of impermanence or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. We could actively explore the physical or kaya through the lens of selflessness or anatta, that we might make a habit of letting go. Now we turn our attention towards let us now explore the circumstantial or Dhamma through the lens of dukkha, that we might train in vulnerability. Let us actively explore the circumstantial or Dhamma through the lens of compassion or karuna, that we may grow in bodhicitta. Excuse me. Let us explore the circumstantial or Dhamma through the lens of impermanence or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. Remember, these are rhetorical questions. It is not our job to answer these questions. What then is our job? Simply to silently and mentally recite these questions in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. We're now going to explore the circumstantial or Dhamma through the lens of selflessness or anatta, that we may make a habit of letting go. Let's seal our practice with 4 chants. Oopsie. Beginning with the chant of liberation. May I, like the Buddha, master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate others. Let us contemplate the ethics of kindness. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. Let us contemplate rebirth. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help others do likewise. And at last, let's play with the 4 immeasurables. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. In approximately 2.5 hours, I would love to return to lead today's mid-morning meditation. May you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.